Alrighty then, what's going on? Welcome everybody to the 2-4 podcast. I am your host, Christian, and this is my brother from another mother, the redheaded dude himself, Kenneth. Say what's up,
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up?
man. We do have quite a bit to talk about, even though, this isn't, this is the midweek thing, and, it isn't Sunday. We're gonna try and give you guys 2 episodes a week, um, but there's plenty of stuff to talk about. We've talked about it before. This is the best time to be a sports fan, man. We're gonna talk about what's going on in the World Series. We're gonna talk about
Yep.
the stuff pertaining to the NFL from Thursday night football, and also things going into Sunday. And we're gonna be talking a little bit about the NBA as well, man. We have a full plate of stuff, but hopefully we don't go on and on for hours because really the meaty thing that we all waiting for is Sunday reaction video. So where should we start, bro?
uh, where do you want to start? You want to start NFL? A lot to talk about right there. Because we got a couple days till Sunday,
Yeah.
and then we got the trade deadline coming up soon for the
Mm-hmm.
NFL. So a lot of teams making moves right now.
Yeah.
Already made some big moves for us to talk about, so we can get started with that.
Yeah, man. How about we just talk about the NFL because it'd probably be the quickest thing to get
Just
through.
the
But
biggest and the quickest topic right now.
yeah, exactly. So how about we start with Thursday night football, man? Let's start talking about you know the the continuous weird roller coaster that Tom Brady is on, where
The downfall of the Bucks.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I just don't know, man. Like to me, I never count the guy out. To me, like you just need to get him to the playoffs and go from there.
Yeah, it's where
But
he really shines, but it seems that like everything is kind of just falling apart around him, man.
yeah, man, I don't know what his chances are to make it to the playoffs. I mean, it helps that he's not in like the one of the stronger divisions, but
Yeah.
with how his team's been performing, it's gonna feel like he's in the stronger division. You know what I mean? Just that they're all
Yeah.
fighting for that top spot in his division. So, uh, man, where to begin with that game, man?
I don't know, man. I mean, we could talk about. I mean,
Really,
it
it's
was a
a
slow start for both teams that game.
yeah, yeah.
In Thursday night fashion, how all games this season have been. It's probably the worst day to watch football because it's just seems like nobody can score. But I mean, early on, the Bucks got out to a 10-3 lead,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really hoping for some more action there, but it kind of both teams kind of just went on, and back and forth, and then you know the Ravens really were their defense was really getting after Brady. It felt like he could get no protection, you know, and he was just couldn't really get anything going.
Yeah, man. It was a rough start for the Ravens, but then they just kind of took over in that second half.
Yeah.
Um, this has been, I don't know how, probably all of his games now, especially the ones that come in the L, where he just looked like he was. It's not just on him, It's like
Yeah.
it's his teammates dropping balls and not making the correct decisions, inopportune things happen at the wrong time. Um,
Yeah.
th- like to me, like the difference between them and my Raiders is that like at least my Raiders have like that talent plus a mixture of kind of like a veteran and youth type of thing going on. Like the guys that are vets, they're young vets, and
Hmm.
yeah, dude, like they're not like showing their age like the way the Bucks have been kind of showing their age in some regards. I What do you think is more likely, them making the playoffs or them missing the playoffs?
As it looks of it right now, they're the most more likely to miss the playoffs unless they can figure something out and really lock it in and get things going. Because the way they've been playing, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, they need some type of like resurgence in that team, and I think the only way that they can try to make a playoff push, where they look like formidable, is to try and get like some really good trades going on.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the splashy name. It can be like one splashy name and then just a bunch of under the radar moves that like people would like look at and kind of think nothing of it, but then like, for the Bucks it's like, oh man, they fit our scheme and our needs and all that, because that's the other thing that
Yeah.
a lot of people don't look at is, you know, especially with football, which is weird because we understand like when it comes to drafting, you draft by need, right? And
Hmm.
and so you don't go for like the most talented player because the most talented player probably won't fit with what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
For sure.
and so when you get all these players that fit your scheme, that's when you start seeing team success. And so like I think the same thing is going to happen with this trade deadline in regards to Tampa Bay. Um yeah, they need something, man. Like they're missing
Some
some
pieces,
some
man.
pieces like from both sides too. It's not just one side. I I
Yeah.
do I do think like this is a talented team, but I think this is a team that lacks the structure. I remember this being a topic. I think earlier in the week on like Undisputed. Shannon Sharp was asked who's missing who more. Is Tom missing Bill or is Bill missing Tom? Who's missing the other? Because they're both having a rough
They
season so
both.
far.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's pretty tough.
he is like he's like huge on Bill Belichick, and he's not so much on Tom. But like, when he made this point, he was like, "Yo, this isn't coming from a biasness or anything like that." But I think Tom is missing Bill because Bill provides structure
Yeah.
and big time
Definitely
discipline.
that discipline and structure that they do not have right now. You know.
Yeah, and Tom goes to a team where he's finally able to joke around and be a little bit more himself, and he sees guys doing the same thing, and it feels great, feels very good. But I'm wondering if that lack of discipline and structure is causing a lot of the problems that they're having right now. Like going back to the offseason, Leonard Fournette is like way overweight.
Hmm.
And so that wouldn't happen
It's,
under Bill Belichick's watch.
it's like everybody's gotten kind of lackadaisy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like we want a chip now. We don't. What did. But you want to be able to compete every year and try to win another chip.
Yeah.
Like you got to be on that mindset. That's why Tom and Belichick, they were the dynasty, man. They had so much discipline in their game plan that they go out there every year and you see and it just they were there in the playoffs, they were there in the Super Bowl almost every year. Like that's what it felt like,
Yeah.
you know. And Tom Brady, he carries that discipline with him, as a person,
Yeah.
just for himself. And you can see it on the sidelines when he's upset with his teammates. Like he's like, we gotta get this stuff together, man.
Mhm.
So I mean, I feel like a lot is weighing on him.
Mhm.
I mean, you got the stuff going on him with his personal life, which is, just being blasted all over, the
Yeah,
internet, which kind of sucks,
and I made breaking news this morning about his divorce being
it
finalized or
in
whatever.
NFL news. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't just like news in general, all of the NFL
Yeah.
seeing it. And I'm like, I mean, it's kind of messed up that you got to bring his personal life into things, but I mean, when you're TB12, you're probably one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it in our generation. You're gonna want there. Everyone's gonna want to know what's going on, But
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna be
hopefully,
under a microscope.
I mean, they broke that news, so hopefully everybody can get past it and let it die down, and he can maybe get some peace of mind going forward.
Mhm.
Because I definitely know that's probably one of the biggest factors that's going in towards him and his mental state for the game.
Yeah.
But definitely, I hope they're one of the teams to make some noise and before the trade deadline to get some pieces.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm uh I'm hoping the best for him. I'm not sure that he'll be able to get past it. Just because, he has kids with his now ex-wife, and so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
could be a tricky situation. Forget the other adult stuff, but like when it involves, kids, that could take a toll on you, and
oh yeah, for
so
sure,
so
for sure.
hopefully that, as time goes by, and if they can be mature adults about things, then it becomes less of an issue, and all that, less of a distraction to him and the team and all that. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, man, I want to see who they have on their schedule, because it's got to be a a bit of a toughie, if they have a hard schedule coming up.
yeah,
Okay, next game is against the Rams. A game after that's the Seahawks. Game after that's the Browns, Saints, then the Niners, Bengals. So I mean, like
yeah. So out
he
of those
has a mixed bag
couple
of,
to yeah,
yeah.
mixed bag of teams, but any given day a team can rise up to the occasion. You know, the Rams, with their woes right now and trying to figure things out, not looking like this,
Uh-huh.
the same team. They could rise up, or they could get they could
It's
get
that one's
get
probably
an
gonna be
L that
tough.
day.
That one's probably gonna be tough because, like, the Bucks were almost there, going to another Super
Almost
Bowl,
there, yeah,
and then
yeah,
their defense let them down, and like this miracle comeback that Tom Brady was starting to have in that playoff game got just destroyed in 2 or 3 plays by the
hmm,
Rams. And yeah, man, that one that might be a very tough game, and right now
yeah,
they don't need another tough game. They need an easier situation to try and get dubs, because, like, even with the teams that seem like they're a little easier, with the fact that you're playing so bad, and and maybe guys have regressed, um that easy game might not be easy. They might just be on
yeah,
par with those teams that are struggling.
hmm,
So it's gonna be interesting, to watch and follow, week to week, man.
Yeah,
I'm crossing my fingers that they make the playoffs, man, because it's fun when Tom Brady is in the playoffs.
is in the playoffs, and I mean, and you wish. I mean, it's just wishfulness, like to see them try to compete towards the end of the season. Even if they don't make the playoffs, they competed hard. I mean, you don't want to see you don't want to see Tom go out on, which is most likely his last season, be a dud
Yeah,
season. You want to
yeah,
see him compete and maybe try to get in the mix.
yeah,
Because it you don't want to see him go out like that.
yeah. And if he's able to win a chip somehow, this is probably going to be one of his greatest
Greatest
accomplishments of all time
talk ab-
because
talk about like Super Bowl comebacks. How about season comebacks?
yeah, it's a season comeback.
Life
It's
comeback.
a
Like
life
it's
comeback, yeah, because like having to overcome so much, man. The adversity is through the roof for him, and
yeah,
anybody who's dealt with like a divorce and what have you. Like they'll all say that that's a tough thing. It's not usually like a mutual thing, and I mean it
yeah,
becomes mutual at the end, but like for it to like be in the process of it, it's not a fun deal. It's not, you're trying to
yeah.
salvage what you have. But but yeah, this I think he has a mixed bag of players who have been satisfied with getting a chip, and then other guys who maybe were satisfied with getting paid. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Definitely.
He's probably dealing with a mixed bag of players who are playing lackadaisical for different reasons. Um, like Leonard Fournette, he got happy to get a
Hmm.
chip, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's like, "I won a chip. Now I'm gonna eat all the chips."
He's gonna eat all the. He's gonna eat the whole bag, bro. He ate the whole bag and more. Like eat the whole chip aisle, bro. But yeah, man, that's just a problem in itself. Maybe hopefully they can maybe try to go score a running back. A nice one. But
Yeah,
who knows? We'll see what they kind of noise they make. But let's talk about the other team. The in that game, the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens. Not you know, everyone thought they were gonna be one of them teams that are gonna be the one top team to beat. With Lamar Jackson and all this stuff, and yada yada. But I mean, they're kind of just right, right there.
yeah,
They're steady on their games. They're winning, but they're not wowing everybody.
yeah. But you know what? Like Lamar's balling his butt out, man. Like
I mean,
he's doing good
he's
things,
doing it
man.
all.
Yeah,
He's like fifth in rushing amongst running backs. Like he's doing his thing.
yeah, dude. And I found it interesting that at the end of that game, I think it was the end of the game, where he saw a sign that a fan had, you know, pay
Ravens
him
pay
or
the
something.
man.
Yeah, and then he
Pay
goes
the
and
man.
signs it. Like they do,
Yeah.
man, because like they just created a
I mean,
problem for themselves. Like it's the same problem that the Cowboys are facing right now. Like
mhm,
Jerry Jones probably feels that he overpaid for Dak Prescott, but he also did it to himself because he chose not to pay him for a really long time when he could have got a discount had he paid him at the earliest opportunity. Um,
yeah.
and the Ravens are like the same situation. And if they're worried about this dude like getting injured and all that, like, well, then they need to like quit drawing up plays for him to be a runner. Like
Yeah.
if you want to
Yeah.
keep him in the pocket, don't give him the option to run unless it's absolutely necessary. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
like I mean that's the thing that irritates me about the NFL and And sometimes it also in the past, like with the NBA, like sometimes they mess with your money because they're like, the way you play is such a high risk for injury, but it's like, but you're keeping me on
Yeah.
this like contract so far, and you're drawing up plays for me to be this way. Like the whole reason why you got me was because of the explosiveness and the things that I could do, and just be like magical, you know what I mean, on the field or the
Yeah.
court,
Yeah.
wherever, you know. And so with Lamar, it's like, bro, you knew who you had this whole time. Why are you tripping about paying him? If you don't want to
Yeah,
pay
for
him, then
real.
let him walk.
Let him go. Let him
Let him
go.
walk. I bet you they won't let him
Yeah.
walk. You know, eventually they're gonna have to
Oh
like
yeah.
they're gonna have to cave to possibly his demands, and his demands is probably a fully guaranteed contract. Now that sucks, but man, like if I was them, I would have signed him a couple years ago where it wasn't fully guaranteed like that, and just dealt with it, you know, a little later down the road, or just keep blindsiding him with a cheaper deal, you know.
Yeah.
But you know they did it to themselves, man, to themselves.
To
But
themselves.
props to the Ravens though. It's for pulling out that dub because
Yeah, it
um
was a close
I
game. I mean,
I
it was close.
I thought that they would wind up losing because of Vegas putting the odds out that the Buccaneers were the underdogs going into this game. And I was like, "Oh, that's just fuel to Tom's fire right there. You don't say something like
Mhm.
that. Those are fighting words to him."
For real. He'll come out and show you, but I mean, yeah, the Ravens pulled it out.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the other things upcoming. Well, actually, how about we start with any type of news, man? You keep up with your Niners, man. Anything going on? Uh,
Um,
player movements or
just
injuries or anything?
there's some talks about player movements. I know we received some calls, uh, and they're not saying no, but there's some calls about about Jeff Wilson.
Mm,
Uh, so I'm pretty sure they're trying to get the best offer they can, for him. But seeing that we got McCaffrey, and then we got Elijah Mitchell coming out, he's gonna be ready to go. He's gonna be coming back soon from his MCL sprain. Uh, and I kind of get what they're doing. They don't want a crowded backfield of really good running backs. But I also thinking about like this, since with our offense, we have been a little bit more injury prone in the last few years for running backs. So I'm
mm,
thinking, like, if you don't send them off, we just having that insurance of a nice running back to have if somebody does go down, or you get a couple backs that go down,
yeah.
you're not picking crumbs from the depth chart. But we'll see what happens. There's talks, they're getting calls about Jeff Wilson, so we'll see what happens the next few days with that. Um, no other moves, just some players out. You know, uh, Debo is going to be out this week. Armstead, Drake, Greenlaw is going to be out. Um, Jason Verrett's questionable. I mean, he's been questionable his whole career. Um, so we'll see heading into Sunday. I think a lot of players are going to be game time decisions, but for the most part, having some of those key uh, players out for this upcoming game is going to be a little bit of a struggle. But I feel like it's always that next man up mentality that these guys have. So I feel like we're gonna still be competitive and try to have a good bounce back game from last week against the Rams.
Um, So what do you what would you say your guys' chances are of making some moves, man, to keep continuing to get better?
Um, the chances of making some more moves, I mean, there could be possibilities of us making more moves, but I feel like they won't, because I feel like maybe they kind of went in with Christian McCaffrey, but who knows? They might go out and get somebody else for defense, or you know, maybe another wideout. Who knows? I don't know what they're gonna do. But as of right now, I feel like they don't need to go out and get somebody. I mean, if anything, it's sending somebody off.
Mhm.
But the way it's looking and the way they're talking, it's not like they're gonna, go all in. You know what I mean? Like, but we'll see. We'll see coming. I think what is the deadline this Tuesday? I think, or is it next Tuesday? I'm not entirely sure. I know it's Tuesday though. I know it's on a Tuesday. But yeah, anyway, but yeah. Um,
Um,
but no,
it, so the trade deadline's on the first. Um,
November 1st. Yeah, Tuesday.
Man,
This Tuesday.
so
Yeah.
I know for like my team,
You guys just had a move, right? You guys just
uh, it was like a small move.
what's
Was
his
we?
name? Hankins? His name
Yeah.
Hankins?
Oh, so we traded
Defensive.
yeah, we traded him to the Cowboys.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that was right. That was right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I forget. I didn't know what team, but I know you traded him away.
yeah.
How
So
do
I
you?
mean,
Let's talk about that. How do you feel about that? What's your thoughts on that?
to me, it makes kind of no difference because like it doesn't feel like anybody from that position, defensive tackle, has been doing much like with like pressure or even stopping the run. They all feel kind of the
Yeah.
same, so it doesn't really feel like we're losing anybody. The only thing that we
Yeah.
might be losing is some type of gelling or chemistry amongst the line, but like that's about it. Like really, it doesn't mean much. Probably like last year it would have meant more because like last year I felt that our defensive tackles were actually a big part of the reason why like we were able to make a push to the playoffs because
Yeah.
we we needed everybody to play out of 10. We needed everybody to just play out their mind, especially getting towards the end of the year, and even more so against the Chargers that very last game because they were playing out of their minds, man. Like
Oh yeah.
dudes were playing so much out of their minds that they wound up getting injured on plays because they were trying so hard.
They
Um,
were going. They were going like 110, like 110%, like even more. Like they were really fighting for that.
yeah, and we didn't really like have that same kind of energy from him coming back, and so I'm not really upset about it. I'm just kind of disappointed by his play. I expected
Yeah.
more from him. I thought him and Bilal Nichols would have been a really good 1-2 combo, but really they haven't done much. So
Yeah.
I
No.
go ahead.
I know that I saw something that like for these first few games that you guys had, his Hankins his snap count was dropping lower and lower and lower every game.
Yeah.
Like at first it was like 30 snaps, and then it was like 25, then it went down all the way to like 12. So I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know if that's a if that plays into effect on them trading him, but it could look good for the rookies you have to get a little bit more playing time,
Yeah.
or maybe start getting them in the mix for your long term and your future. That's that's maybe what they're kind of looking for. But yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I I've I don't normally like look into rumors, but this time I did just because we're so close to the trade deadline.
yeah,
Uh there's two guys on the defensive side with like some of these I don't know if they were rumors or more so just like proposals that were put out there by like fans. But
yeah,
like
kind of mock
Roquan,
trade kind of things.
yeah, so like Roquan Smith from the Bears, man, that would be
Okay.
nice to have. Because
Yeah,
like as much as I like Denzel Perryman at middle linebacker, Roquan is playing out of his mind right now,
yeah,
and I'm a big fan of his. He's a young dude as well. He's only like 25, I think. So there's plenty of uh, juice left in the tank. Um, and I mean, I don't know what it would cost you to make a trade like that, especially with him playing out of his mind. But
yeah.
I would love to get that done. Uh, the
I
other
mean, also,
trade,
also,
go ahead.
also, like you never know what they could be asking for because I mean
They don't have
the
no like
Bears
first
just
round
sent
picks
off.
and stuff.
Yeah, though the Bears just sent off Robert Quinn, so they,
Yeah,
if you feel if they feel like you're gutting them for their defense, they could ask for more, So I mean that's another thing that goes into it as well because that who
yeah,
else the Bears really got.
they could be having a fire sale too, like the way Carolina
Yeah,
is doing.
yeah,
Cause like if they do this fire sale thing, then it just doesn't make sense to keep him on the team. Cause you're trying to acquire as many assets as possible, and he's probably
yeah,
not gonna be like relevant by the time that like those younger players become good enough to make the Bears
yeah.
a formidable team again. Um,
Mhm.
but I mean, I'm pretty sure there's quite a few teams looking at him. Like,
Oh yeah,
I doubt that it's just my team if they are interested. Another guy
yeah.
that I saw was defensive tackle from Washington, Deron Payne, and he's
Mm,
super good. He's super good. Um, I would love for that dude to come over to us. I would feel like if we had him, then we have an answer to to the Chiefs and making it very difficult on them and
very
us.
difficult. Yeah,
Yeah, because like we had a lot of pressure on Mahomes, but like there was always that little extra that we could have done, and I felt like the way to beat them a lot of the times is going through a defensive tackle because you're going straight down the middle, and it gives him a little bit of just the smallest little room of being able to do anything. You know what I mean? And so
yeah,
if you're able to penetrate and get through, and he starts going off to the left or right, well, Chandler Jones or Max Crosby's on that side. They're gonna come after you, so you're stuck
yeah,
pedaling backwards rather than rolling out to either side, and that's what he wants to do. Mahomes wants to move towards those sides. He doesn't want to like pedal further backwards.
yeah,
So yeah, those are the two trades that I would love to
yeah.
see. Well, at least one of them.
Those would be nice. Yeah, at least one of them would be cool. Obviously they're just rumors or just hopes and wishes right now. But
Because I
who knows? Anything is possible.
I would give up. I would do what the Rams did and gave up a lot of draft picks to get stuff done. Because like, are you in it to win it, or are you in it to have this like long term kind of thing? And I think that they're trying
Yeah,
to be more more I want to win this year and next year kind of thing. You know,
Yeah,
shorter window.
I feel like the Raiders too, but getting that taste of the playoffs. Again, like they definitely want that more. So I mean, go. I mean, it says it going out and getting Devontae Adams too. Like you, I mean, that just says it in itself, and getting Chandler Jones. Like you guys are trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
It's definitely saying like, hey, we want to get back to winning. So why not? Why not put chips all in and keep going forward?
Mm-hmm. And like with it being easier schedule, we've gone through the schedule before, and
Yeah,
we've
you
seen
guys are your
it.
first part, it was the hardest, like
Yeah.
now you just lock it in and get it going.
And if you were to get like these new players on the team, this is a much easier way to integrate them rather than like, oh snaps, we have to go against the Chiefs this week,
Yeah.
or the
For
Bills,
sure.
or you know what I mean, just one of these like upper echelon teams. You're not over
Yeah.
here like stressing that hard off of a mistake here and there, and how well do you know the playbook and all that kind of stuff. You can really ease into it through the regular season
Yeah.
because
And
like
if you no, go ahead.
because really the hardest part of the season is more so towards the end than it is
Yeah.
right now in these first few games.
Yeah. And especially if you try to go out and getting these guys from teams who are kind of getting towards getting counted out.
Mhm.
If you bring them in and we're like, yo, we're looking to make playoff run, we're looking to do this, they're going to play even harder for you.
Mhm.
For them to get a chance to compete in the playoffs and stuff like that. They're gonna, like you said, like if one of them's already playing their minds out where they're at, they're gonna play extra harder. When they get onto a squad that's ready there to compete.
So I'm liking my team's chances of winning this upcoming game. Um,
You guys have you're playing
Playing
the
against the
Saints, right?
Saints, yeah,
Yeah,
they
good
got two.
chance, very good chance.
Yeah, they got two players who are definitely out. I was worried when I saw like Devontae wasn't practicing, but then I found out it was a flu,
Just
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
other players were kind of dealing with the same thing. So
yeah,
Devontae did practice on Friday, and so that's a good sign. Um,
yeah,
so he's probably going to be playing against the Saints, and that's going to be a fun game because like Dennis Allen was Derek Carr's first coach, so
yeah.
that's going to be interesting and fun because Dennis Allen knows how to game plan for quarterbacks. I mean, you just ask Tom Brady, and he's going to say Dennis Allen could go to hell.
Yeah,
But from what I'm seeing is Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry are out for this game, and so those are two big names,
I
man.
mean that's their offense right there. With the exception of Alvin Kamara, but like
Yeah.
those are your two best wideouts right there.
So this is gonna be fun and
But you
interesting.
never know. They throw Taysom Hill out there and he'll just fucking run routes all day.
Yeah.
Like he'll run it. He's that meme with a guy he's like doing. He's like I'm punter, kicker, quarterback, running back, tight end, defensive tackle, linebacker, safety, strong safety. Like that's
Yeah.
Taysom Hill right now. He's like I play everything. Coach,
Yep.
offensive coordinator. Like he's
With you bringing this up, it just makes me think of like he probably grew up at like that one chubby kid in baseball. Remember that video that went viral? The I hit dingers or something like that.
he's like all I hit is dingers.
Yeah,
He's like,
that
I throw touchdowns, I catch touchdowns, I
I've
run
thrown
touchdowns.
I've thrown and ran touchdowns to myself. Don't ask me how you run a touchdown yourself once you thrown it.
I
Just
throw it
know that
up,
I
I
do it.
run it, and I catch it, and
Yeah.
he's like, I'm a one man scorer.
Not only have
Yeah,
I
no.
thrown it, but I've also sacked myself.
Yeah, they got that man playing everywhere, man. He's just like a utility tool. But uh, yeah, with the Saints having two of their best wideouts out, I mean it's gonna be. I feel like I mean you can't count them out, but I feel like you have the better chance of taking that dub right there.
Yeah. I do like our chances. I give, like, if I had to put like a percent, I would give it like an 85% chance that we win it.
Yeah,
The 15 is there just because of the coaching staff and, like, just really how good of a job they are, like, as an organization.
yeah,
To like be competitive. They might not be like the best team, but they're always guaranteed to give it their best. They're 2-5. They're just like us. They want to get a third win in there. So that kind of thing you always got to factor in. And then
yeah,
Jameis Winston, he can, like, throw you out of a game, or he can throw you into a big time blowout.
yeah. Is he back playing? Because I know Andy Dalton was playing. He was as at QB.
Actually, you know
Yeah,
what?
and
I don't know.
I
That
think Jameis had been out for a few, and I think Andy Dalton's taken over.
You might be right.
And then I mean it's kind of good to hear Andy Dalton's name again
Yeah,
because I mean once upon a time before Joe Shiesty was in Cincinnati, Andy Dalton was there,
yeah.
but
He
I
was
mean
the he was
he's
Burrow before Burrow.
he was the Burrow before the Burrows, but yeah, I mean all Andy he can throw it too, so
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, this dude was a starter for most of his career, so
but yeah,
you can never count out a backup like that. So
yeah.
it's gonna be a fun watch. It's a 10 a.m. game, and
Well, you got an early
oh,
one.
yeah, and it's at New Orleans, so I'm hoping that doesn't work against them. Time
Mhm.
difference, being up early for a game. Sometimes that kind of travel thing gets in the way of players, like, with their
Yeah.
consistency. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hopefully we have enough guys having it going on that it doesn't, like, factor in. But
Well, I think you will. I mean, if anything, Josh Jacobs just gonna show up and he'd be like, "You just get on my back, get in my backpack, and I'll carry you."
yeah, man, and you know what? I would feel comfortable, like, if he wasn't up to it. I would feel comfortable with the backup
Yeah,
running it too, because this O line, I've said it all season, is a much better
maybe,
run blocking team.
maybe, yeah, maybe. I mean, Josh Jacobs, he's gonna do his thing, but he's been playing his butt off. Maybe they
Mm,
get him, a little bit more rest time during the game. He can rest up and even if you
yeah,
guys get out to a big lead, like, throw the
if it
backup in there,
if it starts,
no risk
yeah,
for injury.
if it starts to look like a blowout, I'd rather have the backup running the game. Like,
Oh, for sure.
keep the same game plan, keep the pressure going, but, like, maybe do it with a couple different players that you kind of want to save, and make sure you don't risk injury. Like,
Yeah,
if it looks like a blowout, I'd rather have Mac Hollins and Renfro taking the heavy load instead of Devontae. If
yeah,
and same thing with the running back, same thing with tight end. Like, I'd rather have the backups out there instead of the heavy hitters. So
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll even see Stidham play.
Mm,
So
that'd be pretty good.
let's talk about your game, man. Let's talk about because like
Upcoming game.
this can be a bit of a trap game in
Yes, it
in,
could.
in a way because like yeah, you guys are normally owning the Rams in the regular season, but like they're also struggling to look dominant since winning that
I
ring.
mean,
They so
yeah. I mean, it on on paper with like the streak of. I mean, we beat them what seven times in a row right now in the regular season.
mhm.
I mean, they're coming off a bye, you know, and I know these guys want to beat us every time. Every time they want, Sean McVay, he wants to beat us and Kyle Shanahan every time. Like they go out there to win, and I mean
And
they're coming off a bye.
the bigger that win streak gets, the harder it gets.
Yeah, and so they're coming off a bye, and so they're probably gonna be fresh. They're gonna be ready to play. They're playing at home, but I mean, it's not gonna be an easy test for them as well. The Niners that our fan base who travel well, they've already put out a statistic. they said they said 59% of ticket sales for that game are Niner
Mhm.
fans. So like it's gonna be a lot of red, and that's what always made it tough for the Rams playing at their homes in SoFi. Was the fan base
Yeah.
was we had it on our side almost every time.
Dude,
But
I wouldn't be
given the
I wouldn't be
go ahead,
surprised if there's more than 59%
there'd
because
probably
of
be more. You
because
never
of
know.
of people selling their tickets later on. So scout
Yeah,
either through scalping their own tickets or like they can't make it to the game. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of Niner fans on the lookout trying to
oh
get into
yeah,
that stadium. And I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised. Well, like watching that game and then seeing just a sea of red and all over the stadium. You know. But
Yeah,
go
there's no
ahead.
doubt. There's no doubt we come out and support. Like
Hmm.
just like the like Raiders do too. They go out and they support. Um, but it's gonna be tough. Not having Debo is definitely our star weapon. Um, couple people out on defense. Defense is probably not gonna be the same, but I mean it could be a plus for us having been really beat last week, and these guys definitely gonna be wanting to play better and coming out stronger in this game to really bounce back. So I mean it's it could go either way, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be just another good game.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Christian McCaffrey just really starts to
Yeah,
flourish because, like you said, you
yeah,
guys are
because he's
going
got a full week under his belt right now. Practice and all this stuff, and
and
just really familiarizing.
no Debo probably gives him more on his plate. Not like in a
Yeah,
bad way, but like hey, let me show my new teammates that I could be just as valuable as Debo.
yeah, because
And
I mean Debo's doing the same thing, catching out of the backfield.
mm-hmm,
Like running the ball, and the same thing McCaffrey can do as well.
mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be a good game to watch. I really hope that these guys can come out and play disciplined and play smarter and just really lock it in. And that's all that needs to be done. Uh, there was some you know old Niners commenting on the loss last week. I think Joe Staley was the biggest one. He was saying it all falls down. It comes down to we're not going to come out on Sunday and figure it out. No, it comes down to we're gonna figure it out in the next day of practice. We
Hmm.
figure it out on Tuesday, come practice. Um, and a lot of words from the locker room coming from that loss is like they're like it's all on us. It's all it's the whole team. It's not one person. We all drop the ball. We all got to pick it up and move on to next week. So hopefully these guys come out stronger. Like last week didn't even happen, and come out and play good football and really trying to turn this thing around.
So I'm looking at the NFL schedule right now, and I'm like, man, there's not a lot of games that look promising to be like a really really good game. Like,
It's only ever when the Bills and Chiefs play. It's a good game.
because like I was gonna say that Sunday night game was gonna be a good game. It's Packers and Bills, but with the way the
Mm,
Packers have been playing, man, I don't know, bro. Like they
yeah,
they
nah.
might they might get dominated against the Bills.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then Giants and Seahawks. I don't know what to think of those two teams.
That's probably gonna be the better game to watch right there.
Yeah, I just
If you're
don't
looking to watch a football game right there, like a good score football game, that could be the one right there.
because are they two good teams or are they two teams that caught a lot of people slipping? I really don't
I
know.
think it. I think it's a little bit of mixture of both. They're talented teams, but they've caught teams slipping, and now they're sitting at the Giants 6-1, and the Seahawks are 4-3 atop the division. But the Giants just traded away. What's his name? Uh, Tony, Kadarius Tony.
Hmm.
I mean, oh, I mean,
They
we'll talk about that in a minute because he traded him to the Chiefs, so that just makes the Chiefs a little bit harder.
Yeah,
But who knows? Who knows what the Giants are going to do from here on out?
and then like, oh man, I'm still looking at the entirety of the schedule.
Colts and
I
Commanders. That's a boring game. Texans
um
Titans. It's a boring.
I guess
Jets are going to blow out the Patriots. Like
Cardinals Vikings maybe. Um
could be.
like this might be a good game, but only because these are two very weird teams in the Broncos and Jaguars. I don't
Yeah,
maybe London finally gets a
a good
decent
game.
game because they might be either like
Yeah,
this might be a game where they score a lot on each other or they don't score hardly at all on each other. I really don't
yeah,
know. Like this is a weird game. But it's also a
yeah.
very good test for Trevor Lawrence to go against a Broncos defense that's super good. But I mean, as far as I could tell, man, it's a battle of the bums. Really, it's just the.
Basically.
And then I don't know about you, man, but Russell Wilson, dude, I don't know who's worse, him or Aaron Rodgers, with like the things that have come out their mouth. Because
They're both memes, bro. They're both
because
walking memes.
Russ
Let's
recently
ride.
told the media that he doesn't get jet lag and all that kind of stuff, and get tired because of time differences and all that. He said, I don't do it because I work out, I'll sleep like an hour and then get up. I'm staying active until my body's right where it needs to be. And so like the way he's like wording it all is like anybody on my team that deals with this is just simply not working hard enough or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
They're simply not better than me. Like
yeah, like this dude thinks so. highly of himself, just like A Rod, bro. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
thought I thought he was just corny, and then like that corniness rubbed off a lot of teammates the wrong way in Seattle.
Mhm.
But then slowly they were like talking about him, and but it felt more to me like they were more hating on their coach than it was
Yeah.
Russ. But with the way things are playing out now, especially with him being with the Broncos, nope, this dude
Nope.
was a problem. He gets real big headed about himself, man, and
He just pulled off the biggest heist in NFL history.
yeah, dude, not even Ocean's 11 could have done what he did.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a meme. It's a picture of a collapsed bridge, and it says Russell Wilson says Broncos country, let's ride, and then it says the ride is a broken bridge. He couldn't get across. So that was one pretty funny, but it's like it's almost comedic at this point, you know? Like it's like you can't really take him serious. I mean, obviously he's a pro for a reason, but it's like it's a sad team to watch.
Yeah, and man,
And it doesn't
I
help that the backfield has struggled this season too. I mean,
mhm.
the only hope they got is Latavius Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, they if I'm not mistaken, they recently made a move to get another running back on their team. Um they are a hot mess, and I don't know what's a bigger hot mess, them or like the Lakers or the Buccaneers or the Green Bay Packers. Um there
Yeah,
is some hot
Packers too.
messes.
But look for the Packers uh to start going out and getting some people. That could be one thing. They could go out and make some noise with trades
Mhm.
to better their chances because I mean they're kind of there, but they're not like they're not reaching that point where they used to be, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
you're right. You're right. They could definitely turn their fortunes around with some moves. They definitely.
yeah,
I think if a really good wide receiver is available, they should probably take a look at that. Like
yeah,
I know the Broncos have denied any interest in trading Jerry Judy, but if they change their mind, maybe the Packers can give them a nice package for him.
yeah. Oh yeah,
But I kind of feel like it's unlikely because I think if you're the Broncos, you should look at it like this: Jerry Judy's not the problem. It's one
no,
person. It's the person that is supposed to have the chemistry. The person that's supposed to start that chemistry. It's the quarterback. Like the front office needs to like have a kumbaya moment with Russ and tell him, dog, you need to be spending as much time with your teammates as possible. Invite them over for dinner. Try to hang out. Go to movies together. You
yeah,
know, uh, just enjoy one another's company more because like y'all are not in sync. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
They just
It's like Russ is that one awkward kid in high school, you know, like that tries to fit in, but like doesn't fit in with the
yeah.
other kids. You know, that's what it feels like. He's like that one awkward kind of eat alone at lunch kid. But I'm gonna eat alone in my 12 bedroom house. Like,
Yeah, and it's all his doing too.
yeah,
It's not them alienating him. He's the
yeah.
one alienating them. So how about we
Like it's
move
kind
it?
of
Oh, go
yeah.
ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'll let you.
I was just gonna say it's kind of crazy that like he gets brought in here and expected to, expected to do these great things, but it's just like this is the complete opposite. Like
Mhm.
how do you go to a new place and just automatically assume that there's gonna be chemistry? You have to create that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So let's switch it up for a quick moment. But before I do that, I did it again. I want to ask everybody who might be watching that's not subscribed to please subscribe, like the video, and talk to us. Comment, man. Say something. Uh, we're down to read your comments and talk about it. And but if you don't feel like subscribing, at least like the video. It helps with the algorithm, and this way our channel can grow. Um, but with that being said, let's get to baseball real quick. It is the World
Yeah.
Series.
Game one
Um,
just happened.
Game one just happened, and I the Cinderella story continues. I don't know what to say, man. I think you did as well, where we both kind of like the Phillies. Just
I like their chances. I like their chances.
yeah, I mean, and what's crazy and amazing about the Phillies, bro, is they prevented the Astros from going undefeated for the
Yeah.
entirety of the postseason.
Yeah. Yeah, they made a great late comeback or a great comeback to win this game. Like if you're from, I will say this right now, if you're from Philly, is a really good time to be a Philly sports fan. You know,
Yeah, your
like you
Eagles
got your
and
Eagles, the Phillies, and even the
the,
Flyers in hockey are doing really well too. I know Philly is a big hockey city as well. You know,
and who knows how your year will go with the Sixers.
who knows?
You
But like,
always you always can hang your hat on Embiid, man.
yeah, just on his shoulder, like crying
Yeah.
on his shoulder.
Uh yeah, dude,
But yeah, no,
this is impressive.
it is gonna be a good series. Um, and the Phillies coming out and taking this first game, like it's kind of shocked a lot of people because everyone was like, "Oh, Astros are gonna win again," you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, it's like I feel like the Phillies have talent, the Astros have talent. The Phillies have heart though. Like I've seen
Mhm.
it the entirety, from afar. I haven't like from afar. I've seen their season and in the postseason. They have that. I would say that dog. They got that fire. You know what I mean? And so
I think that's why a lot of
it's gonna be
not teams, but fans out there uh look at the Phillies with like such a, I don't know what you would call it, man. They I guess just saying that they're the darlings of the league because like they're doing it completely from like their heart is in it, their will, all of that, having great chemistry with one another. It's like
yeah,
other teams in the past that you would root for, um and the Astros being a team that like over, I don't know, last 10 years have been in the World Series a lot.
yeah. The
um
Astros are kind of like the Warriors of baseball. They're there. They're almost guaranteed there every in the
yeah,
postseason every year. You know.
and so you begin to kind of dislike them because they've also had cheating scandals on them, and
Yes. Yeah.
and like the way that they kind of get to the World Series feels kind of like unnatural, in the same way that people feel towards the Yankees. It's not like an organic thing that just happened. It's not
Yeah.
like, I don't think the Astros were ever looked at as a Cinderella story. Just like you would never look at the Yankees that way because they have the resources and the means. They just kind of like buy their way to a chip,
Yeah, 100%.
and
100%.
there's a lot of teams in baseball that don't do it that way. Even if they're in a
Yeah.
great market, like the Phillies are in a great market, but
Yeah.
you don't see them buying their way to a World Series championship. So
They've made moves to get players, like bringing in Bryce Harper was a big, contract that they signed. But
yeah,
they've had some players on that team grow through the system. One being Reese Hoskins, who is a Sacramento boy
Mhm.
from went to Sac State, and him growing up through that team and now being in the World Series, it's kind of cool because he's been with that organization for a while right now,
yeah,
and and he's grown to be one of the better players alongside Bryce Harper
hmm,
and all these other guys, and they got a really good squad, and I really think that if they keep putting it to it, they're probably gonna. I want them to win the World Series,
yeah,
and I really think they can.
yeah. This to me feels like it has a makings of a David and Goliath kind of situation.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's another thing that we got to keep an eye on, man, because maybe getting this one win wakens up a beast inside the Astros, and maybe they
yeah.
destroy
It could
the
go
Phillies. I
south
don't
real
know.
quick, but I feel
I
like they have a chance to compete and
it's
make
a
it a good series.
it's a best of seven, man. It's not a one game series, so Phillies do have their hands full. Hopefully, they can make any adjustments that they need to make, and not be caught by surprise. It's definitely better getting that first game in out the way,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And they got game two today, Saturday at 5. Um, if they can squeeze out another win, they go back home on Monday to Philly,
mhm,
and or just even have the series tied going home would be good because they got a two game. Actually, they got a 3 game stint at home in Philly, so
mm,
that'll be uh that'll be definitely in their favor.
yeah, having that one game is a nice cushion to
I mean,
have.
even going one up first in the World Series or
Yeah.
in any playoff game, whether it be NBA as well, going up one game that gives you the confidence you really really need
Hmm.
because nobody likes to go down 0-1, you
Yeah.
know, so
So fingers crossed. I think the only fan base that actually wants the Astros to win is people out in Texas. That's about it.
that's about it. Everybody else wants the Astros to lose,
Yeah.
especially
Now,
Yankee fans.
but there are gonna be people who say logically though they're like the chances are better off with the Astros, but their
Yeah,
heart wants the Phillies. I think there's a lot of fans that are like that rather than just putting all of that in one basket and saying it's gonna be Phillies all the way. Um,
yeah.
but let's move on from the World Series and get on to the National Basketball Association. Uh, I
Yeah.
I want to talk about before we talk about our team. I want
Let's
to
talk
talk
about
about the team down in Los Angeles. Okay, these guys have dropped another L,
0-5.
and this is this is crazy, man. I don't like I mentioned about the dysfunction and all that kind of stuff, dude. I don't know how you don't hit the panic button I don't know how you don't
Start
trade.
smacking that thing.
I don't know how you don't trade Russell Westbrook
The other
and
Russell.
yeah, the other Russell. I don't know how you don't trade him, and I don't know how you don't uh
I don't know.
include those draft picks, man, because you need to. Like, what is you seeing that we don't see? Like, dude,
They're
this is a
seeing the future, man.
this is a team that even if they made almost no mistakes would still lose because they have no shooting from the three, like no good shooting.
I
And
mean, in this last game, Russell came off the bench too. He wasn't even starting.
and LeBron can't be carrying such a heavy load, man. Anthony Davis didn't play in this game. So
Nope.
you're without a star. LeBron is playing 37 minutes. He should not be playing those kinds of minutes at his age. What the
Yeah.
freak is wrong with them, man? Like,
They're playing.
it's
He's playing as
frustrating.
many minutes as his age, man. Like he's getting up. He's getting up there. You know,
dude, dude, I just
it's a dumpster fire right now for the Lakers.
oh yes, absolutely, man. Like, and he's trying to like play it cool. You know, he doing
Yeah.
like politically correct stuff and say the right things, but like, dog. Once upon a time, Kobe asked for a trade publicly, and it wasn't just to possibly be traded. It was more so, I
To
need
open
help.
the eyes of like to the organization, be like, hey, I need help. If you're not gonna give it to me, give me a trade.
Yeah,
Like that was the statement he made. It wasn't like I really want to get a trade. I really want you guys to help me.
yeah.
You know, and how could you like not help LeBron in this situation? Like it's LeBron, like, and not just for LeBron, for your team. Like, how could you not want to help your team?
And you know what's crazy, man? It's like this would be the third time if he were to like say something, okay? This would be the third time that they didn't help out a superstar right off the bat because
Yeah,
Magic didn't want the coach that they had at the time, okay? This dude wanted them to not be Showtime Lakers. He wanted
yeah,
it to be a much slower game. He wanted it to be walked up rather than you're running in transition and things like that. Like Magic was not cool with it. He wasn't okay with it. He's like, we're not gonna win a chip this way. And he said to the media, I want to trade. And then
yeah.
when he finally had a conversation with the owner, Jerry Buss, uh, he said, look, either I go or he goes. And so sometimes the what the player needs for help is a better coach and not another player being added to the team. And so that's how we got Pat Riley to be their head coach. And then uh, Kobe, when he said his thing, he got Pau Gasol. And that helped out tremendously because that one
Oh yeah.
player helped him, uh, get to the NBA Finals three straight times, and he was able to win two of them. Um,
Yep.
so if LeBron were to do something similar, he would finally get some damn help because even though LeBron detractors will say, "Yo, but he asked for Westbrook to be on this team," da da da, Yeah, but like he also didn't. He what he didn't ask for was that you didn't surround him and Westbrook with like non-shooters.
Yeah.
He didn't ask for that. And instead, you gave him that. So you gave him a team that couldn't fit with either one of them. Like
No.
even if LeBron wasn't there and it was just Westbrook, Westbrook would have had no 3-point shooters to dish it out to.
Nope.
It's the same thing. Like they need to either make a trade with Utah or or trade with Indiana, get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. But either way, it's gonna cost them Westbrook and those picks. I don't see why they don't go for it because like right now, like
It's
they're
it's
they're
it's literally like staring them right in the face, like,
yeah
do it. But they're not gonna. They're not pulling the trigger. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah, it's yeah, it's a whole hot mess, bro. Whole hot.
yeah man. Those
Even Stephen A. Smith is having a field day with these guys. He is talking up a storm about the Lakers, man.
dude, it's just insane how oblivious organizations can be, and like it's not like you can tank for. There's this one kid coming into the NBA this next draft that people are going to be tanking for. He's once in a lifetime. This dude can move.
Oh, Wemby,
Yeah,
the
uh,
big tall guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's 7'5" or 6" or something like
they
that,
made
and
Anthony Davis look small.
yeah, and he over here with great footwork and ball handling skills. Like
Yeah.
people think the dude out in OKC is special. Forgetting his name right now. The one that got injured during summer league. Um,
Oh, yeah. I can't think of his name either right now.
yeah, he went second overall, I think. Uh, people thought he was special, but no, this kid coming into the draft this year, like he's gonna be special. He
Yeah.
is he looks nice. Lakers don't have their first round draft pick, so them going 0-5 does them no good. Does nothing
No
for
good.
them. You know who it helps? Whoever has their damn draft pick. That's who it helps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, 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 no. It doesn't make sense to tank. But I mean, I don't think they're trying to tank. It's just that they don't have the offense
yeah,
to
they're
compete. Neither do they have the defense.
they're terrible defensively, terrible offensively. Like these guys are
Yeah.
struggling. These guys are struggling to break over 100 points. They're dead last in
Mm,
points, if I'm not mistaken.
yep.
And that's a shame because like the team that's like number one in points is like over 120 points a game, and so it's like, bruh, that is such a huge gap
Yeah.
that that
The average for I think points the last few years have gone up for order to win an NBA game. 120 and 130 is like what it takes to win games. And these
mm,
guys not even getting close.
yeah, dude, it's just it's wild to me, but I feel no sympathy for them.
It makes me
Just
feel a little bit better about our
yeah,
situation right
yeah,
now. At least the Lakers are well off worse than we are.
yeah, and dude, like what's crazy is so like I watched a little bit of their post game show, and like
Yeah.
they're bringing up like names of like teams that they don't have uh coming up shortly in their schedule, and they listed our team, and it's like,
Mm,
have you not like
okay.
realized what's happened the last couple years every time you faced us, like
Hmm.
for whatever reason we got your number, like like
Yeah.
we've been putting in that work against you guys, so I don't 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 throw our name into the mix of easier competition,
Yeah.
because I have a feeling that like when we play against them, if they're still without Anthony Davis, all they're gonna do is just make it harder on themselves, and that's gonna be light work for the Kings.
I work. Yes. Yes.
Um,
Right. Yeah.
But let's get to our team. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
game that happened, and then we'll talk about the upcoming game. Um,
Hmm.
so that so the first game we're going to be talking about is when we played against Memphis,
Yeah.
and if you were to just look at the score, you wouldn't have a clear picture of what happened. But it's definitely like somewhat of a tell. Um,
Yeah.
and the Kings didn't have like that bad of a start. Like they
No, it
look
did not.
they look
They
like they could
came out
hang.
strong.
Yeah.
Came out strong, and I can definitely say that it took the Grizzlies by surprise.
Mhm.
So strong that they called a timeout in the first, halfway to the first quarter. We were getting runs, and they weren't ready for it. But but then again, we weren't ready for the Grizzlies to start running. You know, um, looking, I kind of rewatched the highlights again. I watched the full game. It a tough game, and Memphis Grizzlies. They are a physical team, and they have some ballers on that team. Uh, we, from what I see, we played a lot better defense than our previous games. It's just that shots were going in for these guys. Desmond Bain, he pretty much lined us up and shot over the top of us. He was 6 for 8 for three, and man, he it felt like he got the ball and he couldn't miss. Um, I believe Coach Brown he put it. He was like, uh, we gave up the middle too often,
Yeah.
and they got inside the paint and they score, and that Jaw Morant is bread and butter right there. He'll pitch a tent in the paint and kill you all day. And but yeah, it from what it looked like was a better defensive outing. Um, but it just wasn't going our way. You know,
Yeah.
they were making those tough shots that you want them to miss,
Mhm.
but it was a lot of getting good defense, but they were getting a lot of offensive rebounds, which didn't help us in our favor. We're putting in good defense, but then again, they got the offensive rebound, which then hurt us. You know, uh, but yeah, that's my bright points, but there's also some more. But having better defense, but just being outshot it's tough. You know.
Yeah, this could have potentially been a different ball game if Kevin Herter uh didn't tweak
Yeah,
whatever
he
he tweaked.
he
I think it
he
was a shoulder.
no he I what they kind of said in the post game press conference. I think it was his wrist,
Oh, okay.
his left wrist or his hand or something. Uh, because he was holding that at the exiting the game. So we'll see how what the deal is with him moving forward. But yeah, if he had not like gone out for quote for the rest of the game, uh, I think it would have been a different ball game. Given him his hustle and his defense, and then his scoring potentials as well.
Yeah, and then uh uh you can't really like blame a lack of defense on Desmond Bain, because the dude was just on fire, man. He was making
He
shots from like
yeah.
different which ways. It wasn't in like set shots and all that. Like this dude was doing like step backs, fadeaways, all kinds of different ways of shooting that thing, and he was 6 for 8 from three. So
Yeah, he definitely took over that game,
yeah,
yeah, it was it was hard because he was everywhere, up and down, both sides of the ball. It felt like these guys could miss. They had one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 players in double digit points. Like that's a lot of play. There's a lot of players getting shots in, and I can definitely tell you they uh a lot of them weren't easy, but somehow they just went in.
yeah, and like if you look at the stat sheets, like we are very similar to them across the board. Like,
Yeah,
you brought up offensive rebounds, and when I was watching the game, I felt like we were getting out rebounded on the offensive boards a lot. But that probably has a lot to
yeah,
do with the fact that whenever they got an offensive rebound, they were able to score. And so
yeah,
it made it seem a lot worse because, like, our defensive rebounds, um, it was 31, and their
mm,
defensive rebounds was 32. But their offensive rebounds was 11, ours was 9. So you see, they're very close. It's just
yeah,
one
yeah,
one team capitalized on their rebounds versus the other team, and it's the same thing.
yeah,
Like if you look at the 3 point shooting, they shot almost as much as we did. They shot a little bit less, but made two more threes than us. And so that's
yeah.
when you like look at like, man, if only Kevin Herter didn't get hurt.
It would have been a different game. It would have been way closer. It would have been
Yeah,
right to the wire if it was.
yeah.
But I
And I
mean,
mean, at one point the game was within 2 points.
it was,
So
it was,
I mean, we're showing that we can compete, but there's just you can't help but understand that, like, you know what? Yes, did we get better? Yes, absolutely. But so did other teams around the league, and the Grizzlies is one of them. They don't want to just be a team that made it to a playoffs one time and looked very formidable and then just kind of disappear and all that. No, they
yeah,
want they want to look like a team that can go there every year. But in order to do that, you have to always update your resume. And so whether it's your own skill or the additions that you make to your team, and they really, to me, in my opinion, just kind of added and developed and all that kind of stuff. Like they don't look that much different from last year, other than they're a little bit more talented. Like they're
yeah,
from this year to last year. Just like Desmond Bain looks way more dominant than he did last year.
yeah,
John Morant is always gonna look dominant, but he can't be a one man show, and so Desmond Bain was like, all right, I'm gonna be Robin to your Batman, and he's been showing that this year. I mean, before they played against us, they played against Brooklyn, and
yeah,
like they combined it for like 80 points, just the two of them. That's insane.
yeah,
And they were competing with Kyrie and KD doing the same thing, but Brooklyn lost. So they're beating these teams that are supposed to be contenders.
yeah,
So now they're not just looking like a playoff team, but they are looking like a scary playoff team. And so even though the final score says we lost by 15, if you look at everything quarter by quarter and all that, you see that we're there, we're
it's
neck and neck.
two. It's like it's 2 points, 3 points, versus the quarter. Like it's we're there. And just another thing that hurt us was uh the Grizzlies bench outscored us
Yeah,
big time.
that was the big
That
one
was the biggest thing.
because like
What's his name? Brooks.
Yeah.
Brooks, he was a big scorer off their bench. Who else? Yeah, Dylan Brooks, big scorer. Uh, Tyus Jones was a big scorer off their
Yep.
bench. Brandon Clark, off the big scorer off their bench. Those guys really
And
hurt us.
their white guy Jake
Uh, um,
Laravia.
Larivia, yeah,
Yeah.
he
He played a
he
lot of minutes. He played 30.
30 minutes,
And
you
like if
know,
you look at
and
our bench, the only person that cracked over 20 minutes was Malik Monk. Everyone
Malik
else
Monk, yeah,
everyone else was not giving me more. Like Terrence
yeah,
Davis had one of those games again that like cuz he's an inconsistent dude. When he has it going, he has it
hmm
going. When he don't, he really don't. That's why he only played
no,
11 minutes. Donovan
yeah.
Mitchell, I don't know what's going on with this dude this year, but he
Davian.
I mean, yeah, Davian.
Davion.
Sorry. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on with him.
he's yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know if he's in his feels or whatever, but he's yeah, he's not looked as his, his self, in the recent season. I mean,
So
you got
he hasn't looked
you know,
himself. And then like Holmes, he's been having a bad year so far,
yeah, yeah,
which is a big time head scratcher on why that is. Like I've seen some fans be like, well, he looked like someone who definitely misses Tyrese being on this team, but it's like, okay, yeah, Tyrese and him did have a good,
yeah, chemistry.
chemistry and all that, but like he's not that much different than Sabonis. Why can't he do
Yeah,
that with Fox too? Like I don't get it. So I don't know what's going on with him and his game, but his game has been terrible. And
yeah.
so what?
He played 8 minutes. He get no points. Got one rebound. Like that's
And Chemezi Metu
it's
didn't do much for
yeah.
us either. Like
Machima, like
yeah, we
it. The bench needs to definitely cut. Like I yeah,
I think what coach needs to do with the team is uh play a smaller, not like small as in size, but like small as in rotation. Play
hmm
play a smaller group of guys. So like only 8 or 9 guys because we're not getting value from like constantly trying to make an adjustment, during the game. Like,
hmm
oh, let me see if I can give this guy a few minutes. Maybe he'll spark something. Like all these different kinds of combinations, it needs to come to an end because
There
really
was no spark. There was
yeah,
no spark from anybody except for like Malik Monk. That
yeah,
was it.
yeah. So
Nobody else had that spark.
that's why I'm thinking it should be Malik, maybe Mitchell, just because you need a point guard. But you can either have that be Mitchell or Terrence Davis, either
Yeah,
one. But they need to get those minutes in there, and then you pick a big, either Holmes, Metu, or Alex Lynn. I actually would like to see Alex Lynn if it's
Alex. I would. There's two players I'd like to see get more playtime: Alex Lynn and Matthew Dellavedova.
yeah, yeah. I would like Dellavedova to be out there too, just to see what he
What he
can
can do,
bring.
like
Yeah.
he brings that veteran, you know, feel to the team, and
Hmm.
I mean he can still shoot, he's a good guard,
And I mean, he's Australian. It's not like you're talking to somebody from like Russia or
Yeah.
something, So like
Yeah, you can
he speaks English just fine. He might say, "Hey,
yeah.
the kangaroos to your left." That's the only thing that
He's
might be
like
different.
he might say, "Oh no."
Yeah,
But yeah,
he might be like,
another
"Crikey!"
another bright point, another good point to talk about is finally getting to see HB, you know, uh getting a feel for it out there again.
Yeah, and
He there was some times where he got in there and he looked like himself and
mm,
get scoring in the paint and euro stepping his way through was good to see because the last few games he was kind of quiet. You know.
and you know what? To me, I feel like also what had to do with him looking a lot better was playing a lot more minutes because
Yeah.
when Keegan wasn't starting, it felt like coach was trying to keep swapping the two rather than having the two play
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah.
so
Which played out a little bit better having
yeah,
them play together.
yeah,
You know.
because he got to play 37 minutes, and I think he needs to play in the 30s. Um, and yeah, dude, I just need to see a smaller rotation and just roll with that until guys start proving
Start
themselves
stepping up. Yeah.
because there's
Like you said, with this
there's
the team's got to prove us. You know.
yeah, because 0-4 is not good, but what's really not good is the fact that you're 0-3 at home. That is not a
Hmm.
good start. You need to be protecting home court advantage. You need to feel that every time you go home, you're more likely to win than you are to lose. Because like if you are in the playoffs, you need to feel that that's a place that you can defend at the very least.
Hmm.
That every time that you're in the playoffs, it is going to be almost impossible to take a home game away from you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But let's talk about the upcoming game. Um,
Yeah.
so we play against Miami, and it's going to be at home. Um, I'm kind of nervous about it, and but I think it's a winnable game, even though I'm nervous about it. It's
It,
just
yeah.
you better bring it because you're going to have a team that does play heavy minutes with their
Hmm.
players, and one of those guys is Jimmy Butler, and
Jimmy Butthairs.
Jimmy Butthairs is he's a
Now that he's
baller.
got new hair. He got new hair.
Yeah,
He is a baller. You can never count Jimmy Butler out. But I think the Kings right now are in a spot they got to show, are they going to fight or are they not going to fight? They're in a spot where, what are you going to do now? You know, are you going to fight to keep, to get that first win, get the monkey off your back and, get the confidence and try to, you know, string along some wins to
yeah,
get back in the mix of things, or are you going to fall back and just kind of go with the flow? But and Coach Brown said it himself. He was like, if I were to bet on them, these guys are going to come out swinging. And I love that. I want these guys to come out and swinging. Every game now since the first game, every little thing has gotten better and better. You see what they're working on, and you
yeah.
see it paying off. Day to day. It's just a matter of that time. I feel like I have a lot of confidence in this squad just
Hmm.
because it a lot of things have become more. I don't know. A lot of pieces have fell into place where we look good, you know,
Yeah.
and I feel like people put a lot of pressure on them with the drought, the playoff drought, and associating this new group of these new group of guys with a new coach with that drought. It's like, yeah, we get it, but it's not their fault. you
Yeah.
know, like it's a it's accumulated over the past you know years and stuff, but putting a pressure on them that's not needed, you know, and also the pressure of getting that first win
Mm.
is is tough. But I feel like they have a chance to win this game. And you got to win at home. Like you said, you got to protect home, and I feel like they're gonna have a a better chance to do that in this game.
Yeah. I feel that they do have a good chance. I was kind of like looking at their injury report. Um, they said that Victor Oladipo will be out for the remainder
Oh, for
of,
the Heat,
for the
yeah.
remainder of their West Coast wing. But it doesn't mean that they don't have other guys that could step up for him.
Hmm.
So just because you have a guy out and like theoretically it does help your chances, it shouldn't like get to your head. You do need to expect that they're still gonna come out and handle business. And
Yeah, yeah.
and
Definitely not viewing any team as an easy win. Like
yeah,
you, like
especially with you being down 0-4, you can't be looking at nobody like you're better than them,
no,
because like
no. Like
clearly
you
you're
got to
at the
take
bottom.
you got to look at every going forward. You got to look at every team as a tough component. You know, you know, they're in the NBA right now, people don't want us to win. They just kind of want to just, use us as a stepping stone and use that to your advantage, play with that, chip on your shoulder. You're not going to get the calls you want because we're not in the mix. We're not one of the top teams. We're not going to, we're not going to get this special, like what you think, other teams get a special, treatment,
Yeah,
you know? So you got to go out there and you got to fight to win,
yeah.
you know?
And
And
one other thing that I saw in the injury report is that Kevin Herter's day to day, and it's issue,
that's good.
and it's an issue with his shoulder, not his hand.
Is it
Yeah,
shoulder?
yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like if that's the case, then there is probably likely that he'll play. If not, then he'll play the next one. Um,
Yeah.
but either way, I want to see a shorter rotation. I want to see that rotation just ball out of their minds, because I think they're very much capable of it. I think the things that they did in the preseason are things that could translate in the regular season. It's just that for whatever reason, that switch for them just switched off. I guess I don't
Yeah.
really know how to explain it because it's a little bit perplexing to me because I saw a lot of great ball movement in the preseason. I saw a lot of attacking on defense and offense, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot less of it. But I do see it. It's just less of it, and a lot of times when I see less of it, it's because we're still tweaking um, rotations, seeing what guys can
Yeah.
do their thing, and like how I said, I want to see no more than 5 games, and
Yeah.
we're
Coming into
going
the
into
fifth game right now.
we're going into the fifth game, so anything after that is gonna really upset me and annoy me,
Yeah.
and um, I think there's a lot of fans that are starting to come down to reality with some things, but I think a lot of the fans that are starting to come down to reality are kind of like being over dramatic about things,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
because like they're already like giving up on the season when there's like ton of season left. Um,
Yeah.
you can't really think that way when you're a bad team. It's like you can think that way when you're a team like the Lakers. They're allowed to hit the panic button because for them it's championship or bust. So that
Hmm.
when they see that you're able to have a losing streak like that, especially in the very beginning, they're like, I if you're capable of doing that, I don't see how you're capable of doing anything. Um, when you're a team that is fighting for a playoff spot, you should never hit the panic button because you can make it in with this playing tournament as a losing team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't hit the panic button like that. Like you can still make it
Yeah.
being below 500.
Yeah. And we know single handedly how Kings fans can be so dramatic.
Yeah,
It is most of them, like they jump to conclusions way too soon.
way too
I
soon.
mean, with this team, like you shouldn't like keep an open mind, be very optimistic, have hope that they're gonna figure things out because, like I said, every game so far is kind of just a little bit better play wise. Don't get rid of the scores, but playing wise, they're showing that you know they want it. They're showing that.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
it,
like you
if
like you said, smaller rotations and being consistent with people on the court. And I feel like we're gonna have a lot more consistency in our runs and our spurts are gonna be better.
and if you're like realistic with your expectations and what it could take to win games, then I feel like then that's when you voice certain things, and then that's when the organization starts to look at it and be like, okay, yeah, you guys have a point. Like
Yeah.
like fans from day one have been crying for Keegan to start. They're like, there's no reason not to start him. We look better whenever he's out there on the court. So just start him so we have a better look in the beginning. So
Yeah.
that is a reasonable thing. That is a smart thing to be complaining about. So when you complain about something, like I normally say, you don't want to be a team that always listens to your fans because you do that usually will
Yeah.
get you fired. But when there are certain things that are obvious and lots of people are clamoring for it, then it's like you take it into consideration and you're like, they do have a point. Just like how going back to football real quick, like when my Raiders, all the fans and everybody out there that covers the team, not just the fans, are saying, "Run the football. You have so much
hmm
success. Give it to Josh Jacobs." And
hmm
so that was reasonable. And Josh McDaniels finally decided, okay, I'll make a bigger emphasis of it. I'll start doing it. And, you know, behold, you got a dub over the Texans.
Yep.
And we just talked about this Grizzly game being a lot closer than it was being this big lead that they had on us.
Yeah.
Because statistically, if you look down at everything, you see that we were just down by a little bit here, a little bit there. It wasn't it wasn't like a bunch, but that little bit just adds up. That's all that
It
is.
does. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when you as a knowledgeable fan doing educated things, you start to say, okay, you clean that little bit up and then you find yourself winning those games. Because
hmm
just like how I mentioned, it was a little bit here, a little bit there. Every quarter, we were only down. If you just broke it down quarter by quarter, we were only down 3 or 4 points every time.
Yeah.
So if you were able to
Yeah.
shrink it, then you're in a position to possibly win. And yeah, uh, everybody should be on the lookout for things that are reasonable, sounds logical, and when you guys all get into that kind of consensus, then that's when you guys start, getting on the organization about stuff.
Yeah. Not these wild, dramatic,
Yeah,
you know, call for whatever. But that's like, yeah,
yeah, because like right away
we're
they'll be like, "Yo, fire that coach," or,
no,
get rid of this person or that person. No, dude, you
no. In my opinion, Coach Brown is probably one of the better coaching minds we've had in recent past. Like
yeah,
he
dude,
looks to be a lot better than a lot of the coaches we've had.
and with like the start of our season not going as planned, like I've heard so many people say that like they want us to get rid of Sabonis, that he sucks. And same thing with
No,
Harrison Barnes, but like Harrison Barnes has been the most consistent dude on our team in the last 2 3 years.
we're in 5 games now.
Yeah,
Nobody gets a hot start. It takes players to get some
yeah,
games. Just watch. Sabonis is gonna be the Sabonis we went and got after.
yeah.
He's gonna be that guy. And
How you gonna
even in
go?
this game, he did a lot better.
Yeah,
Like he didn't score as much, but he was there. He got a lot of rebounds. He was there. He's gonna get it.
yeah,
Going.
yeah.
Just no
Don't.
need to panic.
Yeah, that is unreasonable what they're asking for.
Yeah, it's like we just got Sabonis. We want to get rid of him?
Yeah. How you gonna go from having a Saboner to a Saflafi?
Yeah, that's a that's a flaccid.
Yeah, there you
A Saboner for Sabonis. I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says Saboner for Sabonis.
go.
Sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right.
There,
So
we're 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 there, man.
is there anything else you can think of for us to cover, man?
Uh, not much. I'm pretty. We you know not much else going in NBA. I mean, you got. I mean, the only thing is the Bucks are 4-0, but that's about it. Not much else going on. Uh, for Kings wise, not we pretty much covered it all. It was some good talking points that we needed to
Mm,
talk about. We're gonna see come today, Saturday, um, game time how that turns out. Uh, but yeah, I'm feeling good about this week of sports, man. It's gonna
yeah.
be
It's gonna
it's
be a
gonna
fun
be it's
weekend,
gonna be
Brian.
pretty good. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, since we can't think of anything else to talk about, want to ask everybody to please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know
Yep.
what you think, what you're looking forward to. Just anything, man. Even if it's not one of our teams that we cover, doesn't mean that we
We
don't.
cover
We,
everything,
it doesn't
all
mean that.
sports.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we don't follow. You know what I'm saying? Like we still follow just because we don't like stick on uh other teams.
If your team sucks and you guys are having woes, come talk to us, man.
Yeah,
We're a
yeah,
therapy session. Come talk to us. We'll give you some 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 shoulders to cry on.
yeah. So yeah, just hit us up. Let us know what's up, and we thank you guys for watching. But we're gonna call it one, and we'll see
Yeah,
you
man.
guys on Sunday,
See you
and
guys on Sunday.
we'll have a lot to talk about then too, man. So
Yeah.
y'all have a good one.